Welcome back to another episode of Automotive Insight. Today's vehicle is a 2010 Honda Odyssey EXL with the iVTEC engine. Customer states that they have a power steering leak, so let's check it out. One of the first things we're going to do is remove the engine cover. They got these little plastic twist inserts. You can use a flathead screwdriver, 90 degrees. So finding this leak was pretty obvious. There's a bunch of oil on top near the power steering pump, and obviously it is has a new pump on it, but the power steering pressure hose is what's leaking. So we're going to replace it. Before starting any work, we'll go ahead and empty out the reservoir. Next, we're going to take off the return line to the reservoir, and then we're also going to put the vacuum pump in there, and then we're going to evacuate the rest of the fluid. Helps make things less of a mess. We'll go ahead and put this hose back. A little ways down the back side of the engine, attached to the valve cover, is a bracket that's held in by a 10mm bolt. Before disconnecting anything else, we're going to come down here underneath the vehicle. There is a pressure sensor. We're going to disconnect that. Is any of that useful? I can redo it. Next, we're going to remove this bracket. It is held in by a 10mm bolt. This is attached to the lower subframe. I know it's because it's on the arm.
Safety.
Next, we're going to remove the pressure hose from the rack and pinion. The flare nut is a 14mm. This does work best with a crow's foot and extension. You can come out here and do it. I managed to get a stubby in there and get it loose, and then we can use a longer wrench to kind of reach in there. Next, we're going to disconnect the hose from the pump. They're two 10mm bolts, and then we'll fish the rest of the hose out the bottom of the vehicle. All right, the hose is loose. Now we just got to fish it out. That's a lot harder than it needed to be. So we took our pressure hose off. The kit comes with a new O-ring. This is a 17mm. It is kind of a tight fit between the hose and this part, so a skinny 17 would work really well. But we got a new O-ring on. We'll transfer it over to the new hose. All right, next we'll get this put back in the car. We transferred over the bracket and this grommet piece here too. The aftermarket one didn't come with it, but we'll fish our new hose back in. That went in a lot easier than coming out. So getting the hose in position down the bottom, there's not enough room, and the angle of attack is just really hard. So we're going to put the rest of the hose together and see if that helps to hold it in position. We're going to do a new O-ring up top. This comes with the new kit. I left it off not to damage it. We'll go ahead and put our bracket back on. All right, so we got our flare nut started. This did take two people. The angle of the hose is we had to bend it some. One person hold in place and then to start it, but it's in there. We'll get it tightened down. I live my life a quarter turn at a time. All right, we got our flare nut mostly tight. Next, we're going to work on the other bracket that we had to transfer from the old hose. We'll get this put back in place. Plug our pressure sensor back in. Ta-da! All right, we'll top off our power steering fluid. We are going to have to work the air out. We'll go through a couple We'll go through a simple method. So after filling it up, we still have the front wheels off the ground. You can go to the steering wheel, turn it side to side a couple times. That helps to get out some air. We'll top it off again, and then we'll let it run for a few seconds, cut it off, top it off, and do that method till all the air works out. Or you could do a vacuum on this if you want. I'm not going to. So one method you can use is using a hand vacuum pump. You can pick these up locally on the loaner tools, and these usually come with different adapters. This one has a flat one that works well. You can just put that on top. We'll give it a couple pumps. Quite a few pumps.
Yeah, it takes a while.
All right, we vacuum blowed it. Let's see how it does. Well, that wraps up the Honda. This job calls for about an hour. Obviously, having a lift is more convenient, but this can be done on the ground, and having a second hand at certain times was necessary. The parts cost about $150 to $200, depending on where you get them from. You can get them cheaper, and you can find some with the brackets that we had to swap over. And a little bit of power steering fluid. This customer was lucky enough that the power steering leak wasn't getting onto the serpentine belt. Power steering fluid tends to eat up the serpentine belt, cause it to shred, chunk, and then fly off. And I've even seen some cases it gets shoved into the timing belt. But anyway, that wraps us up. Hopefully we earned a thumbs up from you. May not have all your answers. Hopefully had some. That being said, we'll see you on the next one.
It'll pick you up at 8. You probably won't be awake. Call yourself an Uber, babe. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
2 10mm bolts, and then we're going to fish the rest of the hose out the bottom of the vehicle.
210 watts?
What did I say?
I have no idea. Like millimeter?
I've been listening to Greg too much here.
I got to
Really?
Well, how come you got me says listen to me?
Meow.